Well, good morning, folks. It's the 23rd of July, 2020, and welcome to another daily devotional. As I was reading my Bible this morning, I was in Mark chapter 9, and in Mark chapter 9, verse 35, it says this. It says, "And he sat down and called the 12, and said to them, If anyone would be first, he must be last of all and a servant of all." Jesus is speaking to the 12 disciples, and an argument had broken out between them as they were walking along the road as to who would be the greatest of them. And in the world's eyes, fame, fortune, prestige are all big deals. But in the kingdom, if you want to be great, you have to be a servant. If you want to be first, you got to make yourself last. If you want to excel, you got to humble yourself. Of course, the great passage in this is Philippians chapter 2, where it says that Jesus, being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but took unto himself the very nature of a servant. In fact, in verse 3 of Philippians 2, it says this: "In humility, count others more significant than yourselves." In a world which focuses so much on individual esteem and growth and all this kind of stuff, to consider someone else more significant than you seems pretty countercultural. But you need to understand where it's coming from. Because whenever Jesus is telling us to be a servant of all, he's speaking about him laying aside glory, choosing to be a servant. See, we're not servants by subjugation. We're not forced to be servants. We're called to be servants by choice. And by choice, we lower ourselves beneath other people in order to lift them up, in order to serve. And humility is such a big deal in the kingdom because God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. And so we humbly serve one another. When we serve, we don't do so because we have to. We do so because we choose to and because we want to be like Jesus, who was the greatest servant of all. He laid aside glory. He laid aside worship and adoration by millions of angels on a daily basis to be born in a stable and to live a life of a carpenter and to die on a cross. He chose humility whenever the rest of the world chose to glorify themselves. See, the incarnation is the laying aside of glory and majesty in order to become a servant. Here's the principle. If you want to go high in God, then you got to learn to serve. Serving is the way of spiritual growth. Serving is the way of maturity. If you want to grow in God, find somewhere to serve. Find some place in the church to serve. See how you could serve. Because as you serve, you will grow. And as you grow more and more mature, then you'll realize actually the benefits of serving aren't just for other people, they're for me as well. So I want to encourage you today. Think about and pray about, where can I serve in the church after lockdown? Where can I serve? How can I be of service for other people? Because if you want to be great, you got to be a servant. Have a good day, guys.